Greetings, welcome back to Ministry Monday. This is Carlton Coon. It's good to be with you today. It's a unique time in our history, and we are doing ministry, most of us, in ways that we have never done them before. If you're a pastor of a church, the very word pastor kind of gives you a job description. You feed, you lead, you seek the wandering, and you are part of healing the hurting. Well, just now, in many of our settings, including here in Springfield, we're simply not able to touch people. We're not able to be with them. We're not able to speak directly into their lives. So what does ministry look like? What does shepherd care look like in this particular point in time? And I certainly don't have all of this down. But I don't think this is particularly an unusual time in the sense of all of human history. The church in Rome was under great duress by the government, and during that time they met in the catacombs. Brother Howell, who I met in Louisiana several weeks ago, made an observation that our having to use the internet and social media may well be the church meeting in the catacombs in 2020 as the Romans did back in that first century. Catacombs were not a pleasant place. Some of them were used for storage, others were places for burying the dead. And it's just basically a vast array of caves under the city of Rome. And so scattered through those caves, small groups of Christians would come together. And they did so quietly. They did so not trying to draw attention to themselves, because as long as they lived to testify another day. They lived to tell the story of their salvation. They lived to tell the story of the Messiah, of the Christ, of the Anointed One who could break all of the bonds. Well, they knew, they had heard it said perhaps that to die is gain. But if they died, there is a loss to the work of God. We're living again, and all of us know this from every inhabited continent in the world. We're just living at a different time right now. So what option do you have when you can't do these four things the way that you've always done them? Feeding, leading, seeking the wandering, healing the hurting. Well, let's talk about feeding for just a minute. You've heard me teach about this a number of times, but you got to get the Word of God into your people and out there beyond them. Every church of any stripe is of necessity having to put together a little program, and it's being put on social media. But the Word of God is still going to be in scarce supply. It's going to be like some of the things that have left the grocery store shelves. There's going to be a whole lot of people trying to make up for their entertainment, some that are trying to get by with the music. Some are going to try to create a sense of drama, but I think there's still going to be a famine of the Word of God. And so take advantage of that famine. You put the Word of God, and I'm specifically talking about the message of salvation out there for people to listen to. Feed the flock of God. And we're doing that. I'm teaching every day for about 45 minutes. And it is an evangelistic Bible study. It's on Facebook, then it goes over to YouTube. And we're getting a significant audience. I've already baptized at least one from that particular situation, okay? The second thing is leadership. In leadership, you have to communicate a direction. But as a leader just now, don't make rash statements. Rash statements will paint you into a corner that you may later decide that you'd like to be out of that corner. But boy, when you make some statements, you just in a bind then. But your communication must convey consistency. Believe in your people. Express that you believe in your people. Express that you trust them, that you anticipate they will return from this as even stronger saints of God. But you give them direction. An example would be that just now our church knows that we're reaching beyond even as we're reaching to them. And that's been communicated as a priority. We're not going to talk much about hey church, but instead we're going to talk with the church. At the same time, we're reaching beyond the church, and the church has been asked to participate in this through sharing what we're doing. Okay, seek the wandering. Well, how do you do that? Well, you can invite them to view on Facebook or YouTube. You can ask your church people to invite them. You make phone calls to people who are on your prospect list. You can call them and pray with them while they're on the phone. Seek the wandering. Our churches, your church, should be larger when you get to come back together than it was the last time you had church. And then finally, heal. How do we heal in these times? You may not be able to get to them. You heal by speaking healing words. On social media, is it wise for me to jump in on the very conspiracy theories? When somebody's sick, do I need to add more stress? But instead, I want to speak peace and hope and trust and confidence and faith and grace, mercy and forgiveness and all of the other things. Those are healing words. Those are helping words. And it indicates that you're secure, that you know that God has got this thing, and that since God's got it, you as the man of God have got it too. And so act that way. Several years ago, when my hair was much darker, I was walking toward the church one evening, and a lady who was a relatively new convert was getting out of her car, and her daughter was getting out beside, and she saw me coming down the hill, and she said, "Look, Mom, there comes Jesus." Well, I had the mom tell me that, and I knew better immediately, and my wife would have known better than my parents and my kids and everybody else. But I understood what she was saying. In that child's mind, I was the face of everything that she knew about God. And that may well have been an unfortunate reality. But for her, I was the best and only representation of what she knew about Jesus. Right now, as a pastor, you are the best, and in many instances, the only representation of what people know about Jesus. Be a good representation of Him while our nation and the world goes through an amazingly difficult time. God bless. I appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you next Monday.